This video is going over the page that is called Introduction to Box Multiplication. On this page, we will practice multiplying binomials by distribution and by box multiplication. So the first thing says multiply these factors by distributing. So the first problem is x minus 6 times x minus 11. This is a multiplication problem. You know, just like I might ask you to multiply, 8 times 9, right? That would be a multiplication problem, and you would write the answer 72. Well, this, I'm asking you to multiply x minus 6 times x minus 11. Now, we already know how to distribute. Like, if it were just x times x minus 11, we could do that. We would multiply x times x, and then x times negative 11. If it were negative 6 times x minus 11, we could distribute the negative 6. In fact, don't write this down, but some teachers make kids do it like this. It's going to be x times x minus 11, but you also have to do negative 6 times x minus 11. So a lot of teachers say, hey, multiply this times this. You can write it like that. Multiply this times this, and write it like that. But most of us don't like doing it that way. We use arrows. Now, if you did this earlier in life, you might have called it FOIL. I prefer not to use the FOIL word, even though that's exactly what we're doing. I like to just distribute, and we use arrows. And you're going to use the arrows too, by the way. So I'm going to multiply x times x. I'm going to draw an arrow, and x times negative 11. I'll leave a little space. I'm going to write the answer. X times x, x squared. X times negative 11. Negative 11x. Then I come here to the bottom and I draw a bracket, making sure that I capture that negative. And I'm going to do negative 6 times x, negative 6 times negative 11. I like putting those two arrows on the bottom, so that's what you're going to do. And I do it that way so that I just don't get a mess of arrows up here that I can't even understand. So now I'm going to do negative 6 times x, negative 6x, negative 6 times negative 11, positive 66. They're always going to work out this way for now. You're going to start with an x squared. Then you're going to have two terms with an x in them. We call these linear terms. And then you'll have a number alone. We call that a constant. You're going to be able to combine like terms of just those two. So the x squared stays. I combined like terms, negative 11x, negative 6x. They're both negative, negative 17x plus 66. That is my answer. What it's saying is, if I multiply these two factors, this is the product. So let's try the next one. I suggest you try the next two on your own, but I'll go ahead and put them here for your reference. Here's x plus 7 times x minus 9. Again, try this on your own first. Use the arrows, but I'll do it right here just so you can check your work. X times x, x times negative 9. Positive 7 times x, positive 7 times negative 9. Be careful of your signs and make sure everything gets a sign. Just like the last problem, the two middle terms have an x, and you combine like terms by adding or subtracting. I have different signs, so I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of the big one. That is my answer. And finally, x minus 10 times x plus 1. Multiply x times x, x times 1. It's be x squared plus 1x, or just x. Negative 10 times x is negative 10x times negative 10. As always, I combined like terms, so that gets me positive 1x, negative 10x. X squared minus 9x minus 10. That is my product when I multiply those two. So the next thing we looked at was the same three problems with a different method called box multiplication. And in our class, we're going to use both methods, and we're going to alternate back and forth between them. So in number 2, we had the same problem that x minus 6, x minus 11 We're multiplying those. And we're going to use a box. So you're going to draw a box like so. And you put the first factor on top. And look how I'm going to do the negative. There's my x. And then instead of writing -6, I'm just going to kind of make that a -6. And then x minus 11, do x and then minus 11, or -11 here. Now I multiply this just like I would do, for example, a multiplication table. X times x, that's x squared. X times -11, that's -11x. X times -6, -6x. -6 times -11, that's a +66. I'm going to put a sign on that. And if you notice, these 4 items are the same 4 items you got at the top of your paper when you distributed. So next we take these out of the box. I take the x squared out first, then I take the 2 x terms, doesn't matter which order, -11x, -6x, and this term, the constant term. Make sure everything has a sign by it, -11, -6, +66. Same as before, combined like terms. And when you multiply these, this is your product. So do the next one, try to do it without me, and then turn the video back on and see if you followed the correct procedure. I'm going to take, it's x plus 7 times x minus 9. X and plus 7 is going to go on top of my box. And x and -9 on the side. So x times x, x squared, x times -9, -9x, x times 7, 7x, -9, +7, -63. So take all 4 items out of the box. X squared minus 9x plus 7x. Now some of you can do that in your head, but I would still like you to take both terms out and show me. Minus 63. Combine these two. X squared minus 2x minus 63. And hopefully that's what we got on top also. Okay, and I'm going to let you try the last one on your own. The next video will show us page 3, which will set you up for what you need to do your homework.